He walked in wearing rags, and everyone judged him. But what they didn't know was who he really was. It was a cold New York morning, the kind that turns the city silver. People hurried past each other, heads down, eyes on their phones, judging, comparing, moving fast. Outside a downtown coffee shop, a man in worn-out jeans and a faded hoodie stood quietly by the door. His shoes were cracked, his hands rough. He held no sign, made no noise, just waited. Inside, the world was different. Jazz played low. The smell of roasted beans and cinnamon filled the air. And behind the counter stood Evelyn Carter, 28, manager, ambitious, always smiling, until she saw him. "Oh no, not again," she whispered. That same guy. Every morning to her, he looked like another homeless drifter. She told her barista softly, "Don't serve him unless he pays first, okay?" The man, Marcus, quietly walked in, nodded politely, and stood in line. His hoodie was old, yes, his beard a bit unkempt, but his eyes were steady, kind, like someone who'd seen too much and learned to stay silent. "Excuse me," he said softly. "Can I get a black coffee?" Evelyn sighed. "Sir, we need payment up front." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a few crumpled dollars, barely enough. She handed him a small cup without looking at him again. Behind him, a man in a tailored suit, gold watch shining, ordered a caramel macchiato with confidence. Evelyn's tone instantly shifted. "Of course, sir." Large caramel macchiato, oat milk, extra caramel drizzle, coming right up. Marcus sat by the window, sipping quietly, watching the street. The suited man glanced at him with disgust and muttered, "These people, they ruin the view." Evelyn didn't disagree, but she didn't realize fate was about to humiliate her entire belief system. Later, that morning, a black limousine stopped right outside the coffee shop. A woman stepped out, elegant, powerful, mid-50s, the kind of presence that silences a room. Evelyn gasped. It was Mrs. Porter, the billionaire CEO of Porter Realty Group, who owned half the city's skyline. Mrs. Porter looked around, clearly searching for someone. Then her eyes fell on the man in the corner. "Marcus." She smiled warmly. "There you are, sweetheart." The whole cafe froze. Evelyn blinked. "Sweetheart." Mrs. Porter walked straight to Marcus, hugged him tight, and said, "I was worried sick. Why didn't you answer my calls?" Marcus smiled humbly. "Just needed to think, Mom." Away from all the noise, the suit-wearing man who had mocked Marcus choked on his coffee. Evelyn turned pale. "Mrs. Porter, you know him?" Mrs. Porter chuckled softly. "Know him? He's my son, Marcus Porter Jr., the new head of Porter Innovations." The entire shop fell silent. The man in the faded hoodie was a billionaire heir, one of the youngest tech geniuses in the state. Marcus looked at Evelyn with tired kindness. "I came in today, dressed like this because I wanted to see how people treat others who look like they have nothing." He looked at the barista, then the suited man, and finally back at Evelyn. "And now I know exactly what it feels like to be invisible." Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. She tried to speak, but guilt burned her throat. "Sir, I'm so sorry. I didn't—" Marcus interrupted gently. "Don't be sorry. Just be human next time." He placed a black card on the counter. "Pay for everyone here, even him," he said, glancing at the embarrassed businessman. "And give a $500 tip to your barista. She was the only one who smiled at me." Mrs. Porter held her son's arm proudly. "I think the world needs more people who wear humility better than a suit." They walked out together. The door closed behind them, leaving a silence heavier than judgment. Evelyn stared at the cup he left behind. Just 2 words, written in marker, Kindness lasts longer.